Yeah. What you know about benchmark? They're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I ain't taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. You playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow. We know.
Had like 150 yards in a quarter, bro. That's something crazy like that.
In the first quarter, he had over 200 yards in the first quarter.
So what do you think? Yo, this is a bad matchup, bro. They gonna make some adjustments or whatever, but it's gonna be Brady getting blown out.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Benchmark Podcast. As y'all already hear and as y'all already see, we already getting into it. We're going to start off the show. Of course, shout out to our listeners, subscribers, viewers. We appreciate y'all big time. But we're going to start off the show, though. We already know y'all think the Chiefs are going to win by 72 points.
Oh, I like that.
I want to start off in a dream world. What do the Bucs need to do to actually win? We're not picking the Bucs, but just for argument's sake, what do you think the Bucs need to do to actually win, or in your eyes, have a chance in this game?
All right, if we're talking about in a dream world, right? And I like how you phrased that up, because you know everyone who knows football knows the Chiefs probably have the upper hand. So if we're talking about the Bucs and what they need to do to win this game, it's going to start on defense. And the reason for that is because the Chiefs have 3 offensive linemen who started last year in the Super Bowl who aren't going to be playing this year due to injuries. So JPP on defense, Devin White, Shaq Barrett, these guys combined have 30 sacks this season, 30 and a half sacks this season, right? So they have the number 1 ranked rush defense in the entire NFL. So JPP, Devin White, Shaq Barrett, all 3 of these guys, they're going to need to come after Mahomes because he's not going to have, 3 of his 5 starting linemen that he's used to. People really fail in these big moments when it's their first time playing in a big game atmosphere. You're going to have the nerves. Tampa Bay is going to be at home. They're going to have the upper hand in terms of the energy, the crowd energy. They're going to be ready to play. So it starts on defense with these defensive linemen, and their linebackers are going to need to come crazy with the blitzes, get Mahomes rattled a little bit, get him under pressure because, these offensive linemen aren't going to be used to seeing these fronts and whatnot. But in terms of their defense, it's going to be up to Antoine Winfield. He's coming off of injury. He's going to have to keep everything in front of him, just due to the fact that they have Tyreek Hill, they have Kelsey, they have so many weapons. If he lets these wide receivers get behind him, he's going to have a long day. But we're talking about in a dream scenario if they can get the win and whatnot. But let's move to the offensive side, right? So offensively, they're just going to need to keep up, and that's been the story for the Bucs, all year long, is having to, or when they play the Chiefs. Let's say when they play the Chiefs, they're going to need to keep up offensively. The Chiefs score quick and they score often. Brady's going to have to get the ball out quick. He's going to have to limit his turnovers. If he plays like he did last week and has 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions, they're not going to have a chance at all. So he's going to have to get Mike Evans involved early. He's going to have to get Chris Godwin involved early. Gronk, use Antonio Brown strategically, move him around, get the defense guessing a little bit. But if he gets Mike Evans involved early, they're going to have to worry about him. And then you can get Godwin involved, hit Gronk a little bit. The Chiefs have the weaker defense, but at the same time, it's not weak to the point where they can't play with the Bucs. We've already seen it earlier this year. They had no problem handling them. So Brady's going to have to, get everyone involved. He has a lot of weapons with Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson too as role players, so he can check down to them at times. But one thing I like about this game that is interesting is these kickers, and it's going to come down to special teams, I think, because the Bucs can score. We saw that last week. We know the Chiefs can score. We know it's going to be a close game, right? People are assuming that it's going to be, within 3 to 6 points. So the Bucs have a really strong kicker in Suckup, who's been, 31 of 32 over the last, over his latest attempts. And the interesting part about that is, on the other hand, the Chiefs kicker, he has missed 3 postseason kicks already this season. So if it is that close of a game and the Bucs do shock us, right, and they keep it close, it could very well come down to Ryan Suckup, making his field goals, making all of his extra points, and that could be the difference in this game. So ultimately, in a dream world for the Bucs to win, it starts with them on defense and getting pressure on that offensive lineman who's missing 3 starters, and just keeping up offensively and being able to go score for score with Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, something that's a concern with that. I'm going to pass this over to Greg, who, by the way, for our viewers, listeners, you can't see it, but for our viewers, he's rocking the Bench Mob podcast sweatshirt, the hoodie right there. Hit us up to get your Bench Mob gear. Greg, we mentioned their offensive line is depleted for the Chiefs, but something to throw out there as a stat. Patrick Mahomes has led the league in QBR at 96.8 against the blitz. Even with a depleted line, do the Bucs have any chance of getting to Mahomes? Like, they're going to have to rush 4. They can't rush more than that because it'll probably hurt them and their defensive backs. Tell me, give me somehow that the Bucs can actually pull this out.
I can't answer that question because there's no way the Bucs are going to win the game. There's no way the Bucs. And you know why? Because I used to be the person that used to say, run the ball, make it difficult on Mahomes in the sense that he doesn't have the ball. He can't control the clock. There's no time of possession, right? If you've seen against really explosive offenses like this one in the past, teams have gone to the run game and tried to just ground and pound and keep him on the sideline. And it's worked. That's worked conventionally in the past. But the problem is the Chiefs can play any way you want to play. If you want to run and ground and pound, they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They got Damian Williams. They got the other running back too. Like they're ready to run too. And I know that their offensive line is compromised right now. But the strange thing with teams like the Chiefs and really good championship level teams is that no matter how many injuries they have on that offensive line, they always find a way to be functional. They pass protect well enough. They just get enough yards in the ground too, right? They create enough holes for their running backs to get through, even when they're compromised on the line and have injuries. So, man, I don't see any way the Bucs can win this game. Literally, the only way the Bucs are going to win this game is if Leonard Fournette and Rojo go crazy. Like, they just kind of run over because it's not going to be Brady. Brady can't outgun Patrick Mahomes. Like, it can't happen. It's not going to work. So yeah. It's gonna have to, because you can't win that shootout. It doesn't work. It's not gonna make any sense. So, yeah, and also if you think about, I know Chris said, don't let Tariq get behind you, roll safety over to the side, right? Like, just make sure. And that's great, all fine and good. Yo, Kelsey's gonna kill you on the intermediate routes. Yeah. You're single covering him. If you can't, you can double 2 people, fine. They have Watkins, they have McCole Hardman, who's just as fast as Tariq, almost just as fast. Like, they literally have, they're the Warriors on steroids. It's like KD Warriors. That's what they are. They're the KD Warriors of football. There's no way you can guard them. It's impossible. So they can run, they can ground and pound. Because they got Helaire, and he's going to be healthy. He'll play this week. And they have the other running back, Williams, who's solid, who's really good. And they have Le'Veon Bell. I didn't even bring him up. I'm sure he'll have a big game this week. If they want to go ground and pound, that's how they want to play. Right, he'll do a little hesitation by the line and find holes. There's no way. I'm sorry. I know the Tom Brady apologists are out there and they want to see him win another one. He's washed. Look, and you know what? The Bucs had a very good year, but Brady is washed, bro. Like, he's just he's a different kind of wash. He's obviously a phenomenal football mind, and he wins with his mind, but his body is failing him. We see it all the time. Like, it's not the same. Like, these mistakes he's making. some of these throws he's sailing on receivers, like the one we saw on Mike Evans last week, or just his willingness to try to avoid the hit, right? He doesn't want to get sacked. He's getting rid of the ball. You know who I saw do that for years when he was on his way out? Eli Manning. Eli Manning was doing the same thing, and I hated it. Those last 2-3 years of Eli being a Giant, it was painful because Eli would stand in the pocket and take shots at his prime and make big throws because of it. But you saw in the regular season as he aged, right, the way Brady's is aging now at 43, right, that they don't want to take those shots, man. They're not about to get hit by the corner. They're not going to hang in there and take the shot off the cornerback blitz and deliver the perfect strike to the wide receiver who's wide open down the field. Nah, man, they're getting that thing up out of there fast, which means, hey, man, I don't care where this thing goes. I'm just not taking the shot. Like, so there's no way they're going to bring pressure. They're going to be creative. Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, and we know he was the defensive coordinator of the New York Giants when we beat him twice. Yeah, like I mentioned that. So he's going to have something for him. He got something for him, man. Like, I'm not saying Brady won't have success in this game. Brady's too smart of a quarterback and too good of a quarterback to not be good. And just knowing the way Antonio cuts these clips up, he'll cut that part out when he posts this clip. But just for the record, right? So it's you know, it is what it is. Like they're gonna hang in there for about 2 quarters and then the Chiefs will run away. It won't be that entertaining. We'll be able to get an early night's sleep that night.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I think if the Chiefs, if the Chiefs go up, right, if they go up 2 scores, it's over. And because the Bucs aren't going to be able to keep up, regardless if they have AB, Godwin, Gronk. They're not as good collectively, and they're not in sync and in rhythm as Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, McCole Hardman. We saw last week, right, McCole Hardman, how fast he was when he took that jet sweep almost to the crib, 50+ yards. And then he came in, had that bubble route, and then punched in the end zone for the score. So the Chiefs have weapons when Tyreek's locked up or Kelsey's locked up, but you're right, they're not going to be able to do both. And if they do, they got Hardman, they got Le'Veon Bell in the backfield, they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's coming back from injury, who's probably going to be amped to play in his first Super Bowl. And what's crazy too is, this guy's a rookie, came off of the LSU championship with Joe Burrow. So a lot of these players from the Chiefs, at least last year, they had that winning mentality, right? They won it all, and now they're coming back for round 2. These guys have been a part of that winning culture, and they have that winning mentality. So they're looking to repeat, man. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, obviously new to the team, but not new to coming off the championship. So I'm sure he's amped and ready to go. And Andy Reid, obviously the better coach here. So it'll be a good one, but I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to go. I hope it drags out a little bit to like the end of the third quarter where it's a good game up until then. I don't think so, but we'll see.
So with this being the case, do you think if you are the GM of the Bucs, are y'all in a quarterback discussion? Like Brady talking about he want to play till 45. Are you giving Brady another year, 2 years after this year?
I would be in the quarterback discussion if I were them, but they won't be. They paid him what, $50 million for 2 years, so 25 each. It's hard to bench a $25 million a year quarterback, even if he is 44. No, I mean, he got you to the Super Bowl this year, right? You guys got there with him.
He's earned it. Respectfully, he's earned it.
Yeah, respectfully, he's earned another chance to run it back with you and play again. And yeah, you surrounded him with every weapon known to man. And it's funny how it won't be enough. It's just any other year this Bucs team would win the Super Bowl. It's kind of crazy. But this year is not there yet. And I would say there are holes in this Bucs team too. Tom's lack of mobility. Like if you can break through the offensive line with a good pass rush, you can beat them. So there's that piece of it right there. Like that, this Bucs team is really good, but they've got holes, they've got weaknesses, and their corners are horrible. Their corners aren't good. They've done a good job in the playoffs, somewhat, right? But like these guys can get beat. They get beat deep all the time. These corners are really aggressive, and the defense is undisciplined. Once a game, they get called for an unnecessary roughness, and you can count on it. They should be a bet on how many unnecessary roughness calls are going to go to the Bucs. That's how many times they get called for that during the game. And so Brady deserves a chance to run it back. And circling back to what we were talking about a little bit before, even if you get pressure on Pat Mahomes, when he's better when he's backpedaling. He's just a different type of quarterback. He throws the ball better when he's backpedaling. Like when he's trying to get away from guys and on the move, he's a better quarterback. He's hard. You can't sack the guy. So
I read a crazy stat today. that Mahomes has a higher completion rate when he's blitzed than when he does when he's, not blitzed, right? So when they're not bringing any pressure at all, he throws 55% completion rate. When they are bringing pressure, it goes up to 66. And that's just because he's so comfortable outside of the pocket. He's not one that just stands in the pocket. He likes to roll out, move around, and have his receivers create plays downfield, which is obviously great to see. It's not the route that was designed for that play, but it just shows you how in sync they are and how on the same page him, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman are able to do that. Throwing off his back foot. Even when he has pressure, he's not always throwing the ball, right? This kid can move, unlike Brady. He can go down the field and get you a 40-yard run. It's not often, but he can definitely do it, and he's shown that he can do that, which is gonna be probably half the battle for them to win the game, because the Bucs are gonna try to bring pressure, but obviously Mahomes is smart enough to get that ball out quick and beat the pressure. But I think a big part of this game is going to be him using his legs.
If I were the Bucs, I would sit back in some cover 6 zone and just let them paper cut me to death and hope they get field goals instead of touchdowns. It won't work, but I wouldn't even blitz. And I know they will blitz because Todd Bowles likes to blitz a lot, which is foolish in this game, and he's going to get burned because those corners on the island with Tariq and them dudes it's going to be a long night.
Listen, they played this team twice already this season, so they have a good understanding of what's expected of them, and just from seeing the Chiefs torch other teams, the Bucs are going to have to be very weary going into this game of what they have to do, and they're going to know what they have to do. I don't think Todd Bowles is going to be foolish enough to blitz often, even though that's what he likes to do. He might have to stray away from that this week, just because everything's on the line, right? It's the last game of the season. You're playing at home. Who wants to get blown out at home? You got to make it somewhat interesting. So I think they're going to try to keep it as close as possible. And I think, honestly, they're going to be conservative. We're going to see a lot of zone. We're going to see a lot of, cover 3, keeping everything in front, cover 4. I don't think they're bold enough to go man, right? You're not going to go man with Tyreek Hill. You're not going to go man with Kelsey. You'll get blown down the field. So it'll be real interesting to see.
After this weekend, all accounts, everybody's picking the Chiefs. Where does this put Mahomes on the trajectory of all-time greats? He hasn't even been in the league for 5 years yet, and he's already had such great success from day one, basically. So he wins. Where does this put him amongst the greats?
He's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life. And it's not, I don't even think it's not debatable to me. He's better than Tom ever was. They're going to be sick at that one. He's better than Tom ever was. He's better than Tom ever was. Like, Pat Mahomes is better than Tom Brady ever was. He's better than Aaron ever was, Aaron Rodgers. He's better than Peyton Manning ever was. There's no accurate way. There's no good way. There's no quarterback to really describe this. There's no way to describe him. If I had to describe not Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, I would say he's a mix of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. He's
more speed than both of them.
Yeah, he's
Question.
a better. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Brett Favre. What did y'all think about Brett Favre's comments of basically telling Deshaun Watson he has too much money to be complaining or to be trying to get traded? Now, Brett Favre forced his way out of Green Bay at the end of his career to the
Vikings.
Jets. And then from the Jets, went to the Vikings.
There we go.
Brett Favre, should he really be speaking on this? What was your take on this? I got the vibe of shut up and play. That's the vibe I got.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's coming down to, right? Like, you can't make that, as great as Brett Favre was, you can't make that comment when you did the same thing. Granted, he did it at the end of his career where he didn't want to, or he thought he didn't want to go out on a losing streak and whatnot. But at the same time, like, you can't knock somebody else for doing it early in their career just because they're early in his career. Deshaun Watson was better than you were early on, right? So I think Deshaun Watson's proved that, like, hey, if you're not going to give me the pieces that I need around me, then I got to go. And for Brett Favre to come out and say that, like, he's saying it from a place of, like, it was different back then when he played in the league. It wasn't like you stuck with the team that you were because you didn't have that. It's not like it is now. It's kind of like basketball now where, like, your opinion as a player carries weight. And back then it didn't. Like, I mean, you could complain about, oh, my team sucks, this and that, I want out, but they're not trading you, right? If you sign and they got 4 more years, you're not going nowhere. But now it's such a hostile like environment. Deshaun Watson already said like he might sit out the 2021 season if they don't, make a move for him. That's not how it was back then. And for Brett Favre to say that, man, it just shows that it was different when he played. I get why he's saying it because it was different when he played, but he has to understand that the league right now isn't what it was back then. And Deshaun Watson was better than you were early on in your career at this point in time.
Brett Favre just shut up. Shut up. Yo, like, get out of here, yo. Like, that was the dumbest thing. First of all, it's hypocritical for him to say that just because he forced his way out. And he knows how controlling the league is. I mean, didn't he have to retire just to make the move to come back? He had to literally retire to get out of their control, get out of the Packers' control. And so for him to act as if like he's against player mobility now, all these years later, and sit on his high horse after he's retired and made all of his money, and see this happening with Deshaun Watson, who's playing for a horrible organization who misuses their talent all the time. There's a long list, right? For him to act as if like Deshaun's wrong for wanting out of that situation it's crazy to me. So let me get this straight. So Brett has the right to want to move on from a situation he deemed to be bad, because Aaron Rodgers was behind him. That's the only reason why he wanted out, right? Insecurity, right? Because he knew there was a bad dude behind him. And then so Deshaun doesn't have the right to want out when his organization blatantly lies to him, right? Like, yeah, they paid him, but that's a small part of the fraction. A player of Deshaun's caliber, you have to make sure you're in it to win every year. There's no excuse for 4-win seasons when you have a quarterback of Deshaun's caliber on your team. That doesn't work. It doesn't fly. This is the new era of pro sports. If you have that much time on your team, you assemble that much time. You get a group of talented players. You get J.J. Watt. You get Deshaun Watson. There is no excuse for only winning 4 games and then lying to your star player and having an owner that calls black players inmates. Like, there's a lot of things going on here with the Texans. Okay, it's not like this didn't just happen. This has been brewing for a long time. There's probably things we don't know about that organization. So Deshaun has every right to want out of there. And by the way, I want to tell the listeners too, Deshaun going for no less than 5 first-round picks. If you think otherwise, you are a fool. I'm sorry, he just is. This does not happen in the NFL. Think about the last time a player of Deshaun Watson's talent level hit the open market. It has not. It's never happened. It's literally never happened. No one this good at the quarterback position has ever been available for trade. Now, I know Deshaun's not technically available yet, and he may never be available. We'll see what happens. But it's 5 first-rounders to get into the dance. That's it. And he opened it up to other teams. There's a report today from SNY saying that he's not just looking at the Jets, which means the Jets don't control the market anymore. Jets can't lowball them and offer them their first-round pick and something else, like Quinnen Williams. Nah, that's done. 5 first-round picks to be in a dance. If you can't offer 5 first-round picks, you can't talk about it. It's done. That's what he's going for. Jared Goff commanded 3 first-round picks in the open market. Kirk Cousins got $90 million on the open market on a 3-year deal. Kirk Cousins sucks. He got $90 million on the open market. Okay? Just understand the way the market works. I had some people hitting me in my DMs talking about, I wouldn't give up 5 first-round picks unless I was a winning team, a team ready to win now. Let me tell you something. You're wrong. Like, you're just wrong. It makes no sense. The quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports. If you can get your quarterback, everything else will fall into place. Even if you're a 1-10 team, guess what? Those first-rounders are not going to – there's a 99.9% chance that all 5 of the first-rounders you give up, none of them will be better. None of them are going to be better than Deshaun Watson. None of them will be better. It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot, okay? Get your quarterback, figure the rest out. That's all I got to say.
I think a winning team would be better suited to do that because the first-round picks kind of don't mean nothing. They're towards the end of we can afford to give that up if we're in a position to win. For example, a team I want to throw out there that nobody really is talking about, but I think would be absolutely beautiful. If they were to trade Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns, get Baker Mayfield out of there, and some draft picks with that talent, with those two running backs, a healthy Odell to actually get him the ball, and Jarvis Landry and Hoover. Tell me what y'all think about that. Deshaun Watson on Cleveland with those weapons.
I think the offense is complete. You looking at with an offense like that, you looking at the Bucs right now with more speed at quarterback. That's a complete offense right there because you got Nick Chubb in the backfield with Kareem Hunt, and then you got Jarvis on one side, Odell on the other. He's interchangeable with Higgins. He's been balling out. And then they got to get their tight end situation figured out, whether Njoku's going to stay or it's going to be Austin Hooper. But regardless of that, you're looking at a complete offense. Now, here comes the question. Is Deshaun Watson going to be able to play with that many weapons? We talk about it all the time. When you are a quarterback and you're used to playing with only one star player, he was playing with DeAndre Hopkins. That was his guy. That's who he knew he was going to in certain situations, third and long. Where's Hopkins? That's who I'm throwing to. Hopkins is going to come down and one hand that right? Now it's comical, man. He has Will Fuller and he has Brandon Cooks. And the thought that Bill O'Brien, the way this man thought that he could ship off Hopkins and bring in Brandon Cooks and thought that was the fix for everything. That's a whole nother conversation. But at the end of the day, Watson has never had this much talent around him. And we talking about it like it already happened, right? But if this was the case and he was to go to Cleveland, he's going to have to adjust to having that many options around him, knowing who he's going to throw to. And it's probably easier said than I'm making it seem to be. But at the same time, there's chemistry that you have to build. There's timing that you have to build. And we certainly know with Odell in the past and egos, that could play a factor too. Hey, why is Landry getting more touches than me type thing? So I think they'd be unstoppable if that was the case, and they would definitely run the Bengals division, which I'm salty about, but that's a different discussion.
I think it would work also on an aspect looking at some of these other teams, like we mentioned the Chiefs. They make sure everybody get the ball, everybody eats. So maybe they could take a page out of their playbook, not actually, what they're running maybe, but the same type of mindset. They got a bunch of options, but Kelsey happy, Hardman happy, Tyreek Hill happy. I know Le'Veon Bell happy. He ain't on them Jets no more. Like everybody
and they all getting paid.
And they all getting paid. Greg, Cleveland?
Yeah, it's in a dream world. Cleveland's a perfect place for Deshaun Watson. It makes a lot of sense, but you got to think about it. Here's the issue. If I'm the Texan and I'm looking at draft capital, just draft capital, unless you're going to give me like Myles Garrett, who are you coming up off of? Because you can give me 5 first-round picks if you're the Browns, but a bad team's first-round picks are more viable than yours. Just no other way around it. So if I get 5 first-rounders from the Jets versus the Browns, those 5 first-rounders are going to be gold. Now, none of them will be better than Deshaun Watson, but they'll be very high. They'll be high-level players you can add to your team if you're the Texans. So, yes, in a dream world, it works. You can give Baker Mayfield and all that stuff. I think the problem with this trade too is you got to look at how teams grade out these quarterbacks. Every team is different. I don't know how the Texans feel about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was much improved this year, but maybe they like, I don't know, maybe they like Sam Darnold more in some weird world. I'm not saying Sam Darnold's better. He's definitely not. Maybe they do. These teams are weird, man. I just heard Miles tell me Daniel Jones isn't better than Tua, so I don't know. People can think anything. People can think anything. So, in all seriousness, and I was serious about that too. Miles is wilding, but in all seriousness, I mean, yes, that trade would be incredible. It would make them by far the prohibitive favorites to win the entire thing next year. And I mean, Odell and Jarvis would be super excited to have them, but I just think this is going to go the other way. I think that he's going to end up on a team that's not that great because those picks. I mean, the Jets really have an offer that's incredible. The Jets can really do this with those Jamal Adams trades. They're perfectly positioned. They have the best offer because you can give them Sam Darnold and you can give them the second overall pick in this year's draft. They can take whoever they want. It's going to be a quarterback, obviously. They'll have an open competition, and they have picks for days to draft and add to their team and make them more talented for that next quarterback. The Jets, by far, because of the number 2 pick, have the best the best package. Just do it. Just do it. It's not even hard to think about. You get Deshaun Watson, and you get to build around him through free agency. Bring some other wide receivers in the door, man. Look, I know it's going to start off bleak. They're going to win 4 or 5 games that first year, which defeats the purpose. But it'll turn around with time. You get your quarterback, it'll work out. It's just they have the best package. I don't think the Browns do, but if the Browns get them, come on. Well, what
the thing that we also have to mention for our listeners, our viewers, to keep in mind with all of these rumors, Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. So if he decides, I don't want to go to New York, it's not going to happen. So that's something that we got to keep in mind too with the trades. Back to the Super Bowl, a little bit off topic. Just want to figure out y'all going to tune in. I haven't watched over the last couple of years, really. Are y'all tuning in to the halftime show this year with The Weeknd? Did the Super Bowl actually – did the NFL get it right this year? I know it's been a lot of debate, and I know Jay-Z was supposed to be helping with the talent and who they choose as the halftime shows. Last year it was – who was it? Wasn't it J-Lo and
J-Lo.
Shakira?
Yep. Yeah. Fire.
So, do you –
Fire. You feel?
How you feel about The Weeknd this year?
It was fire for them. It was fire for them, bro. They've been messing this thing up for years, okay? You know who they should have and they have not gotten? And I know why. Chris Brown. Chris Brown, the best performer you could get. I promise you that joke would be crazy to get Chris Brown. The Weeknd's going to be good. I think I'll tune in to his performance. I mean, he's a talented guy. But it just wouldn't be. I'm telling you, got Chris Brown. Yo, that joke would be crazy.
You know why, though? Because they're not giving up the bag. That's why. To get Chris Brown, you need to give up the bag. And Chris Brown, you're right. He is an all-time. I've seen him in concert, bro. I'm in here like, doing my thing, doing my moves. But like, nah, for real, Chris Brown, like, he would set it off, and I guarantee you, he would grow their ratings for years to come. I mean, I thought J-Lo and Shakira last year did a good job. I was down with their reggaeton vibe, not reggaeton, but whatever you call it. But no, my favorite was a few years ago actually when they had I'm trying to think of boy's name. He pulled up in the drop top, not it was Bruno Mars, but not like not his part. Who came up? I'll think of the name after, but yeah, man, I think that's a good one. Chris Brown. I would love to see Meek Mill out there too. I know Meek Mill is an acquired taste, and he's again an acquired taste, right? We'll just leave it at that. But at the same time, I think everything that he's done for the culture up to date, I think that would hit really well and like land really well with a lot of people, especially with everything that went on last year with BLM. Meek Mill would definitely be a voice, and it'd be good to see him for a lot of young black men growing up.
Meek Mill would be good to watch for that, but I just think Chris Brown, bro.
If we talking about all around performer, you got it with Chris Brown. I can't say anybody else besides Chris. Yeah, I like that.
And when we talk about the culture too, and I want to cut you off. When you talk about the culture too, there's so many artists you could choose from. If you put they would never put Kendrick on there. Kendrick would have people shook. It's that To America John. Like he pull people with black people in prison cells behind him, and it would just be like you would have all the viewership, just like, oh boy, like, you know what I'm saying? The NFL would get up in arms. That would be a good one. But what were you gonna say, Tom?
I was gonna say, yeah, on the grand scheme across the board, I don't think anybody will argue with Chris Brown, no matter the race or any, like, top-notch performer, the greatest performer we've seen since Michael Jackson. Outside of his issues in court and personal issues, if none of those things happen, I think he was on the trajectory of maybe passing MJ. That's how great Chris Brown is. Everybody will love it. I don't see how anybody will have an issue with that.
Yeah.
Transitioning, we're going to draft our top 3 Super Bowl moments. I think everybody on the show knows 3 moments that Greg is going to choose will be all Giants moments. But Let's see what happens. We're going to actually give the first pick to Chris, just so we don't start off with Giants love. Chris, what's your number one Super Bowl moment?
You know what's crazy too, and I'm glad that you just said that. One of the I have two picks right here that I could do for going first round, right? And one of them is a Giants play from 2008. But I'm gonna leave it to Greg because I know Greg got that same play, so I'm gonna let that be his first pick. I'm gonna go personally with the Malcolm Butler goal line interception on Russell Wilson. Obviously a stupid play call as we've heard about, as we've witnessed. You're at the 1 yard line. You want to throw a slant route when you have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. You know, that really, analysts really criticized Pete Carroll on that call for every right reason, right? You got Marshawn Lynch, had a great season. He's beast mode. You know he's going to punch it in at the 1 yard line. Why are you throwing the ball? And, you know, you lose the game on a silly call like that. And then you're sitting on the sideline like this, chewing your gums sick. So I'm going to go with my boy Malcolm Butler. He's still playing great to this day. He made a name for himself that day, and now he's on the Titans killing it. So Malcolm Butler for me.
Greg, go ahead. What's your pick?
Hold on, how many picks do we get? Is the question.
You get 3.
Oh, you got 3.
Greedy.
The Giants don't get love right away.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with James Harrison. I believe the fumble return where he goes like 90 some odd yards. Was it a fumble return? Interception. Even crazier. Interception.
Yeah.
Where he goes like 90 some odd yards and tumbles his way down to the end zone. You don't even know how he gets there. I was rooting for the Cardinals so hard that Super Bowl, and I hope my girl doesn't listen to this podcast. Should be tight, but because she's a big Steelers fan. But nah, man, that was an incredible play. I got to give credit where credit is due. That would be one of the top Super Bowl moments I ever seen for sure.
Yeah,
I didn't see this moment, and I know he's not on with us today, but Miles would understand this one. My number one moment is Joe Namath winning that as a Jet, predicting it, calling it. I obviously was not alive for that one. The oldest person on this show is Miles. He's about 35, so he might have seen like the first couple films. I've never seen it, but Joe Namath, and being that's literally the only time they ever won a Super Bowl and probably will ever win a Super Bowl for our lifetimes. Everybody that's on here will probably die and they won't win again. So I think that holds a lot of weight, Joe Namath winning the Super Bowl. Second pick going you, Chris.
Yeah, I like that. My second pick is a little unconventional. It's not a touchdown. It's not it's not an interception, but it's a good, solid play in a good moment. Y'all remember the Legion of Boom?
Of course.
That ring a bell. Some time long ago, the Legion of Boom, where the Seahawks were dominant on defense. There's a man by the name of Richard Sherman, who used to be the baddest cornerback in the NFL. I see Greg smiling over there too, because he know Richard Sherman was a bad man, right? So, all right, Richard Sherman, his play in the corner of the end zone on Michael Crabtree. This was a long time ago when our man Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback in that Super Bowl, threw that corner route to Michael Crabtree, and Richard Sherman just deflected it. And then really the reason why I'm drafting this play is not for the play itself. It was a great play, right? Helped seal the win, but for that post-game interview, right? The reporter came up to him. She said, "What did he say to you?" He said, "That's what you get when you line me up against a star receiver like Crabtree." And she's like, he said, "Don't you ever talk about me." And she said, "Who said what?" Yo, she was sick. Yo, but Richard Sherman was heated that game, all for the right reasons. Came off a great win, but yeah, man, I think that was a great play, and obviously, a staple in our era for post game interviews, and still to that day, man, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Are we getting the Giants love next? You got to. I mean, the Giants got. To me, I'll pick a play that everyone knows: the David Tyree helmet catch. I don't care if you're a Giants fan. I don't care if you're a Patriots fan. I don't care what team you root for. You got to admit this is one of the greatest moments ever. I think it was voted the greatest moment ever in Super Bowl history. But for Eli to get out of that sack, and only the way Eli could, where he's stumbling around, you think he's gonna get hit, and he throws the thing up, and you're like, it's gonna be a pick, and you're just freaking out. And for David Tyree to come down with the ball on his head and trap it against his helmet, man, it should be my number one. It would be most people's number one. It's not my number one. My number one is the next one that it's the single greatest play I've ever seen in my life. But we'll get there. But that's
I was about to say, hold that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess you're trying to change it up for fans because we all know how much you love the Giants and you have a part-time job with them. But I'll go to my pick. Devin Hester, kickoff return that year in the Super Bowl. He already had in the regular season 6 touchdowns returned, and they still kicked it to him. I remember that. I was watching it. I was lit. Like, I did not think they was going to actually kick it to Devin Hester. And to start off the game with a 92-yard kickoff return, Devin Hester to this day is definitely in the top 3 to 5 kickoff punt returners in NFL history.
Yeah.
Last pick, Chris.
One of the best special team players for sure. But last pick, got to be very smart with this one. And I'm going to take it back. See, when we did this segment, I wasn't going off of all time, right? I'm going off of our era, what we grew up on, right? So, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty more before us, right? Even when we were little. But if we're talking about recently, I'm going to go with the Philly special. And here's why. Nick Foles. You know how many people count Greg over here is sick too because he hates Philly. Yo, you know how many people yo he's sick. Yo, that's gonna be a great clip. Yeah. Nick Foles, the Philly special. You know how many people counted that man out? Right? He didn't play all of the regular season. He came in for Carson Wentz, who was hurt, in ball. He's the reason they got to the playoffs. He's the reason they won playoff games and got to the Super Bowl. And then in the Super Bowl, it was his time to shine. Even though he's not doing much now with the Bears, he's in and out with Mitchell Trubisky, getting subbed in, getting subbed out. It doesn't matter. His year was 2017 when he took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl. And then his greatest moment in that game was not him throwing a touchdown. We knew he could throw touchdowns, right? But when they called the Philly special and he rolled out, no one came with him. He's sitting in that end zone like this, catching his first, touchdown pass, whatever, in the NFL. Great play call and even better catch by him. Simple catch, but in that moment for a quarterback to catch the ball like that, mind you, a backup quarterback, to have the composure and whatnot to make that catch so gracefully and ultimately bring Philly a championship. Like, you gotta put the Philly special on there. I'm sorry, Greg.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, didn't they beat the Pats in that Super Bowl?
He hates the Pats more.
I hate the Pats more than anything. So I'm good with that. I mean, I'm good with that. It's cool. So, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that game until I realized Philly fans had the Super Bowl. But now that's something tells me they won't be talking about Super Bowls in Philly for a long time because this situation with quarterbacks is real bad right now. So they got to figure out right there. Bet they wish they had Daniel Jones. But the next pick that I have is the single greatest play I've ever seen in my life. It's the 2011 Super Bowl. Eli Manning drops back. Mario Manningham runs to the sideline. Cover 2. Safety's coming over the top. He drops the ball. Eli drops the ball in a bucket that it literally makes no sense. The ball just falls perfectly right, like 3 inches out of bounds, only in a place where Mario Manningham could have caught it. Mario Manningham catches the ball, drags his feet, both feet in bounds, falls out of bounds perfectly. It was the dagger in that football game. The most cold-blooded throw I've ever seen. Eli Manning off that throw alone should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care. There's a lot of debates about Eli Manning being in the Hall. That throw alone gets in that moment, in that game, you tell me your favorite quarterback man throw like that in the Super Bowl, I'll call you a liar too. Like, there's no way. There's no way. That is an incredible. That is a Hall of Fame play. It's one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. Like, the greatest throw I've ever seen. I've never seen a better throw than that in my life. For him to, and it's not. Yeah, I know right now I'm bleeding blue, and the Giants. People are going to talk crazy in the comments. Come at me with better plays. Tell me about a better throw, a better pure throw by a quarterback against. He put that ball right in a bucket. The safety was there. He threw his man out of danger, kept him in bounds. And that was third down, bro. It was 3rd and 9. Huge play in the game. Cold-blooded, man. Eli Manning. Can't spell elite without Eli. Shout out to Eli Manning. I love to come over. I have you on the show, man. I respect you. I don't know about else on this show.
Yo, you blushing right now.
That's
crazy. You really blushing. No. He said, shout out to Eli. Can't wait to have you on the show.
Yo, Eli.
Can't spell elite without Eli. That's crazy. Yeah.
He got that glitter filter by his eyes right now.
Yeah, what's up with you, Greg? You good?
Eli is the greatest Giants quarterback ever. That was an incredible play. And
I don't.
It only hit different if you won some Super Bowls. Your team won. So you know what I'm saying? Like most of the fans who come at me, they root for teams like the who they root for. Like who we talking about?
Say it. I dare you to say it.
The Jaguars. I mean the Bengals. The Bengals of all teams. They ain't gotta talk about that.
We looking good for the next 10 years. We looking good.
Super Bowls are so hard to come by. Like that's the thing. Right? When you win 2 of them in your lifetime, like you got a bask in it, man. The fact that I can pick 2 memories and in this draft, and they're both Giants memories. Oh man, I root for a prestigious franchise, bro. Look, they don't get this thing right. I'm telling y'all. But Eli, like for real. Shout out to Eli Manning, man. I don't know. He doesn't have an Instagram, but shout out to him.
Yeah, not disagreeing with that play, but Chris,
what's up?
Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer in your book?
I think so. I know that's not what you were expecting me to say, but I do think so. His last few seasons were horrendous, but I think early on in his career, bringing 2 Super Bowls, right, Greg?
2 Super Bowls.
I think you gotta, 2 Super Bowls. You gotta cap that off with a Hall of Fame run. He's like Greg said, he's had great moments. That David Tyree catch, obviously that wasn't him. That was just David Tyree making a phenomenal play. Hold on,
Chris, hold
that
on,
was a jump ball.
Hold on 1 second. Yo, it's not just the Super Bowls because you're gonna do them with the services legacy. It was the playoff runs too. It was going on the road to Lambeau, beating.
Listen, you ain't let me finish.
Oh, I'm about to say. I don't know. He's trying to come crazy right now.
Antonio trying to come crazy, not me.
I told you. Listeners, viewers, he is a part-time attorney for the Giants.
Nah, bro.
Jets,
I'll never be no attorney.
And the Mets.
I'm never be no attorney for that.
Definitely the Mets. But no, I for real, I think Eli deserved his spot to be in the Hall of Fame. We've seen people get into the Hall of Fame for less, right? So it's only right that Eli gets in, bringing the New York Giants 2 Super Bowls. And again, his playoff runs, his longevity in the league, being consistent up until his last 2 years. He's played with the best of the best and proved that he is one of the best of the best. So, yeah, I'll give him his credit, for Greg's sake. He definitely deserves to go ahead and be in the league. But just know, Greg, Joe Burrow is so young, and he is so –
you talking about Joe Burrow.
No. Hold up. Let me finish.
This dude said you would give up 5 first-round picks for him. He was an open market.
Liar. That's not familiar. Yeah. Yo, not for nothing. Joe Burrow is so young and so talented. Already came off an LSU championship. We know that's old news now. The Bengals line is horrendous. We're going to get that fixed this year for him. I promise you. He's going to come back. Probably not going to make the playoffs this coming season, but I guarantee you, down the stretch in the next 4 to 5 years, let's say the next 5 years, I guarantee you we make the playoffs 4 times and make a run, if not win a Super Bowl within the next 10 years. Guaranteed.
Oh, guaranteeing if you can guarantee Super Bowl for Joe Burrow, then I don't feel as outlandish for saying that I think Daniel Jones will win Super Bowl too. Someday down the line, I think he will. So, hey man,
Tua is better than Daniel Jones. Let's end the podcast on that.
Who is?
Tua Tagovailoa.
That's the dumbest shit. You're getting me mad. That take is so stupid. It literally makes no sense, bro. There's no football sense behind saying that Tua Tagovailoa is a better quarterback right now than Daniel Jones.
Will be. Well, all right, we'll say will be. He will be first. He will be.
No, he won't. Yo, his own team. Look, I love Tua. I
He has
really
the
do.
potential to be as good as Deshaun Watson.
Who
That's
does?
a hot take.
Who
Tua
does?
Tagovailoa.
Look. Tua
You're
did
not
not.
disagreeing with that.
Tua
You
did
know.
not. No, I'm actually. I'm about to tell you. Tua does not.
Stuttering, right? He's
No,
trying to think.
Tua. Listen, Tua is
Uh,
talented. He's very accurate. He can play. But look, this year was not convincing. Let's relax.
It's
Okay.
his rookie year coming off in a hip
I love
injury,
it.
bro.
I love it. Okay, I love that. I love that. Okay, rookie year. The injury, if you want to hold the injury up there, that's fine. Fine. The injury can be something we talk about. That's fair. Yo, Daniel Jones came in the league from Duke and threw 24 touchdowns his first year. Had 3-4 touchdown games, and no one talks about it. Why? Because he has.
You know who else did that early on in their career that fell off?
Who?
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff did not do that early with the Rams. Yo, don't do that.
Yes, he did. 2018, his second full year in the league starting, he threw 32 touchdowns.
Not his first.
He didn't start all. Listen, hold up. Jared Goff did not start as many games as Daniel Jones his first year in the league. Jared Goff came into the league in 2017 and was the backup quarterback until the end of the season, mid end of the season, and was still being interchanged with the starting quarterback at that time. First of all, his first full year playing game after game in the league was in 2018, and he threw 32 touchdowns that year.
Was that post LA move after they got rid of Jeff Fisher, wasn't it? When they got Sean McVay, right?
It don't matter. He threw 32 touchdowns.
Oh, it matters. It matters. We're gonna see how much it matters when he's in Detroit this year, throwing ducks all season. We're gonna see.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Daniel Jones, yeah, he got off to a hot streak early on, but like he's still got a lot to prove before we talking about Super Bowls and we talking about him in the Hall of Fame. Like you got to calm that down. I get it. You a Giants fan, a Giants lover, but at the same time, like it'd be great if he could bring the Giants a Super Bowl. But for that to happen, one, he's got to improve. Two, we already seen he's got speed. He can run. I mean, that's not a factor. But at the same time, the Giants need to get some pieces around him to help him do that. Sterling Shepard ain't cutting it. Gallman out of the backfield ain't cutting it. You need some real players to take to double up to free somebody else up. Sterling Shepard ain't. This
is my last pick though. Before you say your last,
we still on the draft, man.
I actually forgot about the draft. I forgot about
my last pick. I'm gonna have to choose T.O. coming off a broken leg, 9 catches, 122 yards in Super Bowl. Of course, they wasn't able to win the game. And according to reports, T.O. said Donovan McNabb was drunk before the game. We don't know all the details, but to come off a broken leg, 9 catches, 122 yards, elite. I think Eli Manning will end up in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think he's a surefire candidate as you believe. That's all I was saying on that one.
Oh, surefire.
That's fair.
I wouldn't put him as a first ballot.
He's surefire because he did it in the playoffs. He did it when it mattered the most. And you know how many guys fold and wilter in the playoffs. We have examples for days in sports for him to do it in the biggest moments. So look, man, like he made his case. It's ironclad. You want to pull up the regular season numbers? You want to pull up the bad seasons? Fine. But in the playoffs, he pulled it off, and that is difficult to do because getting to the dance is one thing, but to win it all, like what? That's insane. He's cemented it, and I know I'm a Giants fan, but hey.
Who's your Super Bowl MVP this year? Who you going with?
Pat Mahomes, and here's why. Yo, it's so crazy. I feel disrespectful, like not giving this man more credit than we already given him. We're already praising him, right? Like we got to understand that Pat Mahomes is like what we're seeing from him isn't normal. And I know Greg and I have talked about this all the time, but like you think about quarterbacks that came into the league and that look at quarterbacks in their first 3 years. Lamar Jackson may be the only exception, and maybe not even so, but in terms of like winning MVP for a quarterback that early on in your career, that just doesn't happen. He's already done that. He's already won a Super Bowl, and he's played in the league less than 5 years. You look at other quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, been in the league a little while. Dak Prescott, been in the league a little while. Ryan Tannehill, like all these other quarterbacks, they don't have Lamar Jackson. They don't got what this man has. Like, this man is special. There is no other quarterback like him. We can't even think of comparisons to people that he plays like, because again, you're just trying to morph two players to his playing style. He's so unique. There's no quarterback in the past that was like him. He literally can do it all. He can run, he can throw, he can avoid pressure. He can get the ball out quickly. Like, this man is special, and he's going to do great things in this league. And he can certainly, if he gets this win on Sunday over the Bucs, it's going to build so much momentum for him for years to come. And I honestly think at that point, with Andy Reid in Kansas City and Mahomes and the team that they have now, if they can find a way to continue to build on the players that they have and keep the players that they have on contract for years to come, just like the New England Patriots once did, this team going forward will surpass the best of the New England Patriots teams, and he'll accomplish more rings and get more rings than Brady did.
I'm guessing you're going with Mahomes too for MVP, safe to say?
I'm going with Mahomes for MVP too. I mean, if you're going to look big picture like Chris just did, they're going to lose some Super Bowls on the stretch here. They're
of
not,
course.
There's going to be some years they don't get there because that's just the way football works. It's just, it doesn't, it's tough for dynasties to survive in the NFL. But Pat Mahomes, he's going to throw for easy 300 plus. He's going to throw 4 touchdowns. It's man, listen, I'm so unexcited about this game. I'm not excited, yo. I don't think this is going to be that close. I pray I'm wrong. For everybody who listens to this podcast and hears me talk and hopes that I'm wrong all the time and whatever, like, yo, I hope I'm wrong about this. Like, I hope, and it must be tough because I won't be wrong often. But I hope that I'm wrong about this because I want to see a good game. I want a reason to stay up late that night. But I just don't see how the Bucs can stick around. I just think Brady's played mediocre quarterback. He's just been a mediocre quarterback throughout the playoffs. If we're really being honest, he just has been. He gets. I know everyone's giving Tom the love fest, and I get it. Oh, he's the greatest. This, that, blah blah blah. LeBron comparing himself to him, other stuff. Please, let me tell y'all something. Tom Brady is not the same quarterback, and if I just don't see how he can keep up in this game without everything being right around him in this game. I just don't see it. Like. It's crazy to me. Like, he's like, what we're seeing in Tom's career right now, he's the smartest game manager of all time. Smartest game manager at this point in his career, the smartest game manager of all time. He's like a smarter Alex Smith right now.
Speaking of Alex Smith too, they had the Bucs like Tom Brady in them. Like, this is probably one of the easiest years of Tom Brady's career to get to the Super Bowl, just due to the fact, like, they didn't play anybody in the playoffs. In the playoffs, they played Washington, right? And Alex Smith didn't even play. Heineke was the quarterback.
And Heineke gave him a run for his money.
Heineke gave him a run for his money. That was a struggle to win that game until the end. Mm-hmm. And then they went and played New Orleans, and you were playing against a hurt Drew Brees. We couldn't see what Drew Brees really could have done. I mean, the guy was playing with broken ribs and a punctured lung. It's not the same old Drew Brees, and their defense certainly wasn't the same either. Obviously, James came in and threw that touchdown, but that's besides the point. But at the same time, like, they didn't really play anybody, so this is going to be their first test to, like, it's going to be crazy to see because, again, we've already seen what the Chiefs can do to them this year. Go ahead.
It's safe to say about the third quarter, if we were to go to Greg's house, we're probably watching Kyrie highlight, so he won't be tuning in after.
All right, the Nets playing on Sunday?
That layup package.
The Nets play on Sunday. I'll probably watch the Nets game. I'll tune in. I mean, if the Nets are playing and overlaps, I have no problem watching the Nets on Sunday. I'm not really that interested, bro. I don't think this game's going to be that close. I'll tune in, of course, for the show, but, it's not that exciting. I'd rather see Aaron, man. We needed Aaron in the Super Bowl.
Transition into our last segment before we get y'all out of here. Cap or facts? Cap or facts? Start off with this first one. Knicks should build around Julius Randle. Cap or facts?
Cap.
What the hell?
Cap. No, let's give this man his credit. He's balling. He's balling out right now. But again, like, at the same time, like, he's balling out because he can, right? He's on the Knicks. He has some free range. But at the same time, Yo, Greg's face is funny right now. But at the same time, like, he not doing that against like real competition. Let LA come in there. He not getting his numbers that he's supposed to. They're not building around him. This man's been in the league a long time. They'd be silly to build around him.
No disrespect to Julius Randle. He's a good player. He's a very good player. He's a good player in the NBA. Very good player. He's gotten better. I respect his game. No. Respectfully. Nah, bro. I can't go for that. You got to build around your boy Emmanuel quickly, not RJ Barrett. Emmanuel quickly.
We already know how you feel about Barrett.
Yo, man, I'm just telling y'all, man. Like, his numbers are good this year. He's playing well. He's playing in a system where he's allowed to play. The problem is RJ is not going to be a number one guy on a championship team. You're going to have to bring in somebody else to supplant, to help him out, right? Like, you're going to build around this guy, and there's going to be a player that comes into a team that's already better. To be quite honest, that player is Emmanuel Quickly. He's better than him. You already have it. You're going to keep on adding around RJ Barrett, and RJ Barrett's numbers and usage rates slowly going to go down. And can RJ Barrett play when the ball's not in his hands as much as it is now? Because, again, that he's not a high usage rate player. He's going to have to be a guy who fits in a role. This is fool's goal, man. Like, he's going to play good defense. He's going to have to knock down some threes. That's what RJ Barrett's going to be in the NBA. He is not a superstar. He's not a perennial all-star player. I'm telling y'all, bro. It is because he has a high usage rate right now that you see this stuff, because they have no one better to go to outside of Julius Randle. So they're forcing touches. They're trying to see what he is. I'm telling y'all what he is. He is a guy who's going to be a part of the picture there, and you're going to have to mix him in and get some other great players around him, and you're going to have to get that true star talent. If they got LaMelo this year, LaMelo would have easily came in there and outshined him. I don't think Knicks fans would agree with me, would disagree with me on that. If they got LaMelo this year, LaMelo would have been their unquestioned star, even with RJ on the roster.
I think we all can agree with that. We see what he's doing already in Charlotte. But even if we didn't see that, I think people would agree with that. Okay,
Yeah,
they're two different players.
It was an article by Asherrod Blakely on Bleacher Report throwing it out there. Should they build around Randle or should they sell high? One of the things that he said in there, it was like, Randle has been balling out. He's been playing well, but he needs help. So a player like, for example, he threw out there Victor Oladipo, adding to him to have another high-scoring guard, so it's not so much on Julius Randle's plate. I threw it out there. I think Julius Randle has been balling. I think he needs help. I wouldn't per se have him as your focal point, but I think he can bring value to a playoff team or a championship team.
Sure.
If he 1A or option 2 or option 3, hands down. Cap of facts. Funny enough, Chris kind of alluded to it, but let's hear what y'all think. Mahomes and Reed tandem will be more successful than the Brady and Belichick tandem. Cap or facts?
That's hard.
It's hard because of what it's hard because of what we've already seen Brady and Belichick do. It's going to be hard to run that up. You may get close and you may not get there, but it's hard to see, like, for example, how long Reed is going to stay in Kansas City. And we already know Mahomes. Mahomes signed there for life. Like, he's not going nowhere. He got the bag. He got $510 million over 10 years. Like, he's not going nowhere. I don't think Andy Reid's going nowhere either, but he's older. He's older than Belichick. So it's like, I don't know, but I'm gonna say facts. I'm gonna say facts because I see that much in Mahomes. He's a dog. We already talked. We don't need to get back into it. I'm gonna say facts because we know what this man can do.
Greg, cap or facts?
I'm gonna go cap. Because I think the league's gonna catch up with Randy Reid and Mahomes. I just think at some point they're going to catch up. I think the quarterbacks coming to the NFL I'm about to tell you, the quarterbacks that come into the league are getting better and better year by year. You're just seeing more young quarterbacks have success. You're seeing teams start to pick fast wide receivers that are built like Tariq. The tight ends even look different coming out of college now. Teams are going to catch up, man. I mean, 2 players I already see in this draft that instantly kind of fit the mold of the Chiefs, and they're not going to end up on the Chiefs. They're going to be top 10, top 15 picks. Kyle Pitts, who's a lot like Kelsey but faster. That's scary. And then they have a Jalen Waddle, who's like Tyreek Hill, who I hope will be a Giant. But that's a whole different discussion. The point is, I really, I just think the league's gonna catch up to what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to do what Belichick and Brady have done. I mean, also factoring in the cheating. We have to factor in the cheating. People seem to forget about the cheating when you talk about the Patriots. I get it. It's not the reason why they were the best team in the league, and it mattered. It mattered. Didn't they get caught filming on the side? And we talked about this in another podcast.
Bengals Jets game, man.
Bengals Jets game. They
was playing the Bengals the next week, and they was filming the game.
They're filming their plays. They're filming the Bengals plays. The Bengals, that was when y'all had no one. they were cheating against the Bengals for crying out loud. The deflated football controversy, all that good stuff. Listen, man, Spygate, right? It matters, and if you want to sit on the moral high horse, you can say, okay, fine, the Chiefs will pass them because you can't look at them that way. I know football fans who are knowledgeable who can't look at this Patriots and give them all these roses because of that, and it goes for Tom Brady too. That's fine, I respect that. But if we're gonna talk about sustainability, for a long time, and you're talking about shuffling players in and out, and it doesn't really matter, then I don't know the Chiefs are gonna do that. The Chiefs have to keep what they have intact. It's gonna be difficult to do that for that long of a period of time. But they have the better quarterback, so it's a chance. I'll go Cap, but I'm going with a light Cap. Very light.
Yeah, let me ask you this, though. If the Chiefs win on Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. They get 2 back-to-back. Who's checking them next year?
Oh, they'll be – I mean, look, you don't see it. You have to wait till the draft. You have to wait till free agency happens to know who can contend. That's the reality of it. It's too early. Because in football, it really does matter. Like, free agency can change your team.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true. I mean,
he gonna say whatever team Deshaun Watson go to.
No, not even, because that don't count as free agency. In all seriousness, though, like, it's the little moves, like getting more cornerbacks in your backfield, like just the great defense. There's gonna be a defense that makes it hard on one of these runs. I'm telling you, it's coming. Like, teams are loading up on corners. I even noticed it in a small perspective with the Giants. Like, they load up on their corners. Like, teams do that. The Ravens load up on their corners. They're not going to pass rushers as much. Like, they're going to try to really make things difficult in that passing game of the Chiefs. So, we'll see after I can answer that question better after free agency and after I see the moves and I see the trades, the big trades that happen. But if you're talking about trades with Deshaun Watson, he's an NFL Jet, so he'll be irrelevant.
Certain things, right? Let's just be about the music.
I want to play a little clip
for a second. Not about what comes with it, the marketing, the promotion, just everything on both sides. Just take it for the music, right? And it's hard to put those guys kind of in a comparison because they're a little bit 2 different eras and they overlapped a little bit. In the end of Jay's career overlapped with the beginning of Drake's. But all I'm saying is the songwriting, the singing, the rapping, the versatility, the melodies. I mean, we can't deny the guy's talent because he looks like a cornball. Just his music, like the music. Bro. Like, just take it for the music.
If we're just talking about the music, Drake is better than Jay-Z. Drake is the GOAT. Cap or facts?
I think facts. I've been saying Drake to go for a minute, bro. Drake done stamped it for a while, bro, to me. I mean, it's the longevity. It's the longevity, bro. And I know Jay-Z's the king of longevity. There's no wrong answer depending on who you are. So music is subjective. So if you're gonna say Jay-Z's the GOAT, I'm not mad at you at all. It's fair. But it's the versatility, it's the longevity, it's the fact that he could do this forever, bro. Like, Drake is that dude. Like, for real. I mean, and so many albums like just come to mind. Like, obviously you've got, Take Care. You've got Nothing Was the Same, which is classic. We going to talk, and then even that first debut album, was incredible. So I don't know, man. And he's got albums in between that were fire too, bro. Like, I be telling people, bro, like, it's incredible, the body of work, the discography that Drake put together. I think people take it for granted right now because we're in it. Because we're in it right now. I think as he starts to, he'll never fade away. But as you start to look back on it and you start to play his stuff, just go on Apple Music and play his greatest hits, bro. There's no skips. There's no skips. You're not skipping a Drake song. It's all subjective, man. You might be one of them who's listening to NLE Chopper or something like that. I don't know, but
get out of here. Who listening to NLE Chopper? Hey, yo, hold up. NLE Chopper, if you hear this, we do not want you on the show.
No, you're wilding.
You are trash. Respectfully.
Nah, bro. In all seriousness, bro, when you play Drake stuff, but there's no skips, his versatility for days, he's incredible, bro. Flex and Drake don't even like each other, bro. That's real. Like that came from the bottom of his heart. Flex. Nah, man, that's respect. Drake is that dude, man.
Listen,
shout out to $1 million worth of game. That clip was from $1 million worth of game. Shout out to their podcast. I want to give them the credit. Don't want to get sued. So that was from $1 million worth of game right there. Shout out to Wallow.
Yeah, shout out to them for real. But Greg, you know what's crazy? You changed my opinion when you was defending your boy Drake. And the reason that I was gonna say Jay-Z until you brought up Drake's versatility and not only can he sing and can he rap. If we were just talking about rapping, I think Jay-Z got it, hands down, because they both had that longevity. But I think Jay-Z's got it just for everything that he's done. But in terms of like connecting with different type of audiences, and when I say audiences, I mean like, for example, my pops, right? My pops listened to Jay-Z growing up. Like that was his favorite artist. Like, and then I came up on Jay-Z, you know, years later, and then that was my favorite artist type of thing. Like Drake not doing that, in my opinion. I don't think like your dad ain't grow up on Drake, you know what I'm saying? Now maybe now, like if you had a kid, right, your kid might grow up on Drake and that might be his favorite artist. That's a different discussion. But at the same time, if we talking about all around versatility, I gotta agree with Greg. I mean, I'm a big Drake fan too. You know, I like his music. I got both albums on my phone that we were just talking about. But Jay-Z, man, if I had to pick somebody that if I could only listen to one person, for me it'd be Jay-Z. But that's not saying that Drake isn't a better overall artist. I still can't put that into words because I feel disrespectful doing that.
Yo, I'll take real quick. Drake got four classic albums. Take Care. Everything was the same. More Life. And I think he's about to drop another one, bro. I think he's about to drop another classic album.
Yeah, the one that Certified Lover Boy.
Yeah, Certified Lover Boy. And the album with Throwaways he put together recently. Wow. The fact that I can forget the name of the album tells you everything you need to know about it. But even that album was better than most people's album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was Throwaways, bro. It was something he was never going to release. So,
yeah.
Nah, man, Drake about to have, by the time his career over, he's going to have at least 4 classic albums. 4. And people don't agree with, hot take is because people don't agree with More Life. I've said it in music circles and people people are weird about their music purists. But I think More Life is a classic album, bro.
By the way, you was talking about Dark Lane demo tapes, right?
Dark Lane demo tapes, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
not a classic. I don't want no one to cut no film me saying that Dark Lane demo tips is not a classic, but More Life, Nothing Was the Same, Take Care, Certified. My opinion.
Well, there wraps up this episode. Shout out to Drake. Yo, if you want to come on the show, definitely come on the show. OVO team, everybody, Jordan, all that. Shout out to Drake. Shout out to October's very own.
Send me that Certified Lover Boy gear, bro. I need that.
Send us some gear. Exactly. But I'm going with Drake. Drake's my favorite artist. Jay-Z is definitely one of the greats, and we don't want to disrespect Jay-Z. But if y'all stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Woo! Said that real too fast.
Run that back.
If y'all stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Benchmark, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, real quick.